Robert Plank Show, episode 113, Powerful Communication, Influence, and Presence with Laurie Burton. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Robert Plank Show, where we talk about making money. Today's guest is Laurie Burton. Laurie Burton is an internationally recognized innovator and author who has helped thousands of people improve their ability to communicate effectively, thereby creating more success in business and in life. She's the author of Presenting You, and her techniques generate dramatic results in an amazingly short time, from one-on-one coaching to seminars and corporate groups, promoting the use of each individual's unique passion, energy, and animation. She encourages attendees to her workshops to be comfortable with themselves, creating more effective opportunities to lead, inspire, express, convince, and sell. That sounds like a great list. Welcome to the show, Laurie.
Oh my goodness, what a list.
Yeah, what a big promise to live up to.
Really?
I'm really glad that you're here and that we're on the show, and I'm really glad that we're on this topic because and I don't know if you I mean, I'm sure you come across people like this, but I'm not normally like a very good like speaker, communicator. I don't like dealing with people. I'd rather they just kind of leave me alone. And over time, I've realized that, well, if I don't have these skills, I would be kind of held back. So over time, I've kind of forced myself to, or maybe not forced, but just kind of maybe practiced and learned to kind of be this better person, even though it doesn't come naturally. Does that make sense?
Oh, it's a perfect example about of how there's so many people feel the same way. Robert, it's amazing, and that's what I'm here to do is to encourage people and ask them to go out there and risk a little failure, but a lot of success. But you got to take chances in life.
I mean, it makes a lot more sense. Makes a lot more sense to do it that way, and I mean, a lot more fun than just sitting at home wondering what if, right?
Well, what? Yes. What if? And being alone and shy and perhaps withdrawn and not a part of a group that you'd like to be a member of, and being confident enough to speak for yourself and stand up and say your name with confidence.
So, would you say that that a lot of like what you do or like the difference you make is it mostly that confidence thing, or like what specifically separates you from everyone else out there who does something similar?
Well, I talk a lot about you've got to have number one energy. And where does our energetic core lie and how does it look when we talk to people, when we present something, when we give a speech? Where does that energy lie? Your energy is the speaks first before you've ever said a word. People are reading your energy level. So that's what draws people in. That's really what is captivating. It's a part of charisma. It's so you've got to be aware of your energy and how it looks to others. I mean, we can practice it. I encourage folks to practice it in the mirror. This energy, just look at that energy and bring it. If it's freeze it. If it looks kind of boring and dull, bring it up and out and towards the mirror and hit that mirror with your energy. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
so important.
I mean, I kind of do, but I mean, when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, like, what exactly am I looking for? Is it like a
Your
like
your
a
eye,
posture or a? I mean, yeah,
your
go ahead.
whole body, your whole body. It starts with your eyes. You can say your name. Say to your name in the mirror. Hi, I'm Laurie Burton. Is it an energy that's projecting that out, or is it, hi, I'm Laurie Burton? It's back. There's something I call the imaginary line. No matter where we are, but even on a telephone conversation like we have now, I have to cross an imaginary line between you and me across the country, or I have to cross an imaginary line between my audience and myself. But my job as a speaker is to project my energy out to that audience and keep them awake and keep them alive and energetic and wanting to hear what I have to say. So
And so when I do that, like, or when someone does that, like, how do you keep like the genuineness of it? Like, how do you become like this like energetic person, but without coming across as fake?
we have to really have to practice your ability to project. I use an exercise called a yes exercise, and I have people do it like in a small way, in a medium way, in a big way, so that they get that feeling of saying yes, yes. And then I can't say it on the phone. It's like somebody, your football team just made a touchdown. Yes. So that, and people they freak out a little because they're not used to expressing that big of emotion. But you've got to stretch that instrument. Your instrument is your body. We play this instrument every day with our face, our voice, our hands, everything. The body is it's a whole instrument. And I like to think of it like that, so that you got to learn how to animate it, and the meaning of the words have to be expressed through the emotions. If you say, hi, it's great to be here, not hi, it's great to be here. You have to embody the meaning of the words.
Because who wants a sad stick in the mud talking to them, right?
Right. And nowadays have you ever noticed that people talk in question marks?
Just really
They'll,
uncertain, right?
well, they'll say, hi, I'm Laurie Burton. I'm really glad to be here. And I have some things I'd like to share with you, rather than, hi, I'm Laurie Burton. I'm so happy to be here. You hear the difference?
Yeah, one is timid and the other is more assertive.
Yes, and owning who you are, owning owning the ground you're standing on when you're presenting, owning saying your name, even if it's over the phone and or at a presentation. It's taking that moment and making it your own. But people are so afraid to take it over and own who they are and the ground they're standing on and making that a part of them. It's what I call being comfortable in your own skin.
So I mean, let's kind of explore that. I mean, tell me what I should do or say over the phone to kind of experience this.
So, well, your voice has some energy, a lot of energy in it.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
that's doesn't come naturally, but when I'm in like speaker phone discussion mode, I'm like, okay, I turn that on.
yeah. Well, so do I.
Cool.
You
So
can,
we're alike there.
yeah, you have to turn it on and turn it off, but it becomes so a part of me, and I can't speak for you, that it's the way I am when I'm out there, when I'm talking to people, when I'm in the spotlight, so that it just it's the switch goes on.
So
And
so I mean, so what I'm asking is like, you said you have your yes exercise.
yes,
So what I would do, I mean, I'm fine doing it right now if you
go
if you want.
ahead,
So
please.
you want me to do like the small, medium, and big, and you want me to
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
introduce myself, like say I'm Robert Plank or something?
yes.
Okay, so I
Say
start
your
off
yes.
saying it. So when you say there's the small, is that just saying it normally, or what's
Just
the?
use. Why don't you just do the yeses for small, medium, and large?
So I just say yes and that's it?
But let's start with your name, though. Say your name and then say, I'm going to do this yes exercise. Say your name and then say that, and then
Okay.
do the exercise.
So all right. So I say I'm Robert Plank, and then I say yes, or what's the
Yeah,
exact words?
just say yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah. Then the big one.
Okay. So here's the small one. I'm Robert Plank. Yes. And then the medium. I'm Robert Plank. Yes. And big one. I'm Robert Plank. Yes. Is that kind
Good,
of the
good. How did
idea?
that feel? Did it
Pre-
feel? How did it feel?
It feel like it let out some stress, I think.
Yeah, it does that too. But how did it feel in your body when you were doing it? Were you feeling embarrassed? Were you feeling really good about what you were doing?
I felt maybe a little embarrassed, little cheesy, and I was like, I had my hands in my fists, and I was like, hold it, like kind of pumping both fists. I didn't even like
Yes.
realize it until I was doing it.
See, there's the secret is that there needs to be a connection in the words you speak and the gesture connected to it.
So
That's
you can't just be some like person slumped over in the chair talking super energetically. Something's not going to line up, I guess.
right. It's what I call a split. Have you ever seen anybody talking in front of a group and their hands are in a fig leaf position? We all know what that is, I think, right?
Yeah.
Oh, protecting the important parts. But that's the way people stand to just hold on. but it's not effective. But they may be saying hi everybody, but their hands are in front of their in the fig leaf. Hi everybody, it's nice to be here today. They're speaking pretty well, but their hands are in a fig leaf. So that's a split between their neck and the rest of their body
And
because they're
and
go ahead.
I'm glad that you brought that up, like the whole body language thing, because that was the kind of thing where like I didn't think about it that much. Even though like what do all the communications teachers say, like the non-verbal communication is like 90% or something. So
Hmm.
I saw a picture of me a few years ago where I was on stage and I was sitting at a panel, and everyone else sitting at the panel was kind of almost like uptight and rigid and nervous, and I was leaned back, which I kind of liked. I was like, if you looked at the panel, I was like the one relaxed person. But then
Uh-huh.
what I didn't like, which I hadn't noticed until seeing a picture of myself, was I had both hands in my pockets, and I looked it up later,
Uh,
and I guess it means that like subconsciously that means like you're like holding things back and not revealing enough, I guess.
it's like when we were kids when we had a blankie a blankie that we held on to that made us feel good. Hands in our pockets are a way to hold on, crossing your arms, the fig leaf with your hand or behind or any way that you hold on rather than just having your arms at your side is what I call neutral position. And then you work from there, but it feels terrible to people if they're so used with their hands in their pocket. So I have to train people to get used to that neutral position, and then you can move anywhere and gesture freely.
So it seems like we're starting to form kind of a cool, almost like a step by step process, right? Because I mean, the first it seems like at first people maybe they're doing things that or they're putting off things that are not good. So it seems like the first step is to do your mirror exercise, your yes exercise. Look at yourself in the mirror, see how you
Mm-hmm.
put yourself
Mm-hmm.
out there, see how you look and you feel, and then
Mm-hmm.
do that. Say your name and say yes, small, medium, large, and then it
Mm-hmm.
seems like there are and then from there you figure out the neutral position, right? And you figure out where if normally you have your hands or your arms in a weird kind of way, you just reset and get back to just the regular arms at your
Neutral
sides thing.
size, and then go from there.
And then
Yeah.
depending on what you want to express when you talk, now you figure out those new mannerisms, I guess.
Well, the mannerisms are, excuse me, are a result of the words you speak. You can't just say, I'll gesture like this there because it won't be connected to the words. If you say, I love, now my hands are both hands are in front of me right now. My fingers are out and I'm gesturing outward. I love. If you ever seen great singers or performers, when they gesture, the words come through their fingers as they gesture out. That's the secret. That there's a whole, it all connects. Have you ever seen people that just gesture so much with their hands are constantly going and they're not connected to anything? It's distracting. Lots of people do that.
Oh yeah, like and then all I remember even 5 minutes later is just the gesturing, none of what they actually said.
Right. And pacing is the leg version of the arms. They'll pace back and forth. Too much pacing. I want people to move, but I don't want them to pace. So it's got to evolve. It comes from the meaning comes out your mouth through your eyes and then your arms, your hands, and everything.
And I like that, and it's one of those things where, I mean, at first listen, it seems kind of hokey, but I mean, I think back to like when I was a kid and we would like play baseball and learn to like hit a baseball, and it'd always say, "Well, swing the bat, but don't just hit the ball and stop. Like
No,
pull it all the way through and like swing it through the ball." And like
abs-
I never took karate, but always in karate you always hear like punch something and like punch through it. So kind of along those
you
lines you're talking about,
perfect.
well, like yeah, like talk, but then also like move and not like over dramatically gesticulate randomly because you're nervous, but have it all
Yes.
even though like when we're talking whatever, like you and I are talking, but we're also kind of moving around and gesturing, and that gets picked up back in the audio even though no one actually sees it.
Yes, it's a completion of the meaning, the things you're saying. It's an extension. Your arm is extended and it keeps flowing into the audience and then just keeps going. It's like a sound of a bell. You can think of it that way. The bell rings, but it keeps going. and then it disappears.
I like that. There's after effects.
Yes, yes. So people never think of their personalities as after effects in the way they speak, but it really is. People who are really good, they leave you with an impression, and that's the after the bell rings.
That's cool. That's kind of trippy. So
Yes, it is.
I mean, so let's talk about you for a few minutes because I mean, we're talking about all these cool things about how to speak better and how to overcome like the all the little trip ups everyone goes across. So what is it exactly that you do? Like, do you help anyone? Do you help speakers? Like, what it?
Anyone,
Okay.
anyone. People say, "Well, let's figure out who applies to." Well, a lot of it has been corporate work, but there's also been individual, days or 2 days with an individual working on the way they present themselves, a CEO of a company perhaps, or somebody who's going to be making a speech and wants to work on how they look up there and, tell me how I'm doing kind of thing. And we go through a whole day of, breaking down everything from head to toe and working on a lot of people are hung up on parts of their body that they're not happy with. So they walk out on that stage, say, let's just say, for instance, a woman who's overweight. She's worried about how they're going to see her heaviness. And so that colors her speech. She doesn't have the ultimate freedom to express herself because she's worried about her weight. So I cover from all the way down from head to toe, asking people to look in the mirror and tell me what they love about their face, what they don't like, what they would, and if they say I don't like it, I'll say, well, are you willing to get a nose job? And they'll say, well, no. Now, then the question is, then let's make friends with it. Can you make friends with it? Because they got to make friends with our heaviness, our weight, or our noses, or whatever it is, in order to make that great presentation.
So would you say that when you're helping these people out, is there a certain like percentage of I mean, let's say like if you broke down like all the little things that there were to be fixed in the average person's like speech and delivery, would you say that most of the things that need to be fixed are they real things or is the majority just things they need to just get over and forget about, basically?
A combination of both.
But would you say is it equal or is one more than the other?
Yeah, no, 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 no. Well, I think most of it, a lot of it is skill and the ability to really express yourself in a positive way and one that makes impacts of people, inspires people. That's the most important thing
Okay.
for me. Yeah.
And so you'll just kind of on a case by case basis just kind of like look at what jumps out at you, look at the like the low hanging fruit and just kind of correct all the things that need correcting.
Go in and work on them, and then ultimately, I've got to check on their body and how they feel about it. Got to check there. Got to, yeah.
Well, cool. And I mean, yeah, because I always think about like my own way of talking and the way that I normally talk, or even like the way I talked as a kid was I would just talk like like a mile a minute so fast that I would like slur my words or repeat things like because I'm in California and every time
Oh,
like
you're in California. Oh,
yeah
I
it
forget, messed that up.
it's nice sunny and hot over here,
Oh,
but
yes, I'm in California too.
oh cool, we're neighbors then basically.
Yes, where are
So
you?
I'm over by Stockton, Modesto.
Oh, okay.
Are
All
you
right, I'm in
southern?
LA. I'm in
Oh,
LA.
yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's always in LA, but I mean, but we're close enough.
Yeah.
But so I would always just like talk so dang fast and trip
Hmm.
over my words and say half a sentence and then go over and rock it in another sentence. And every time I talk, I have to just kind of remember. I keep thinking to myself 20% slower than I normally would. That way, because I know
Right.
my weakness is to go too fast, and I just say, okay, even though coming out of my own mouth, it feels to me like I'm talking too slowly, but then when I hear that later on, I it
Hmm.
sounds about just right. So it seems
Yes.
like from everything you've been saying, where you look at yourself in the mirror, or how you look at how someone else speaks, it's almost like the way that you think things are going out, or the way that you think you're presenting to the world is
Hmm.
totally different than what
Oh
everyone else
my
kind of
good.
sees.
Yes, absolutely good point. And that speaking very quickly is a way to get off the spot. If I have people who come out and they take center stage and they walk off as they're walking onto the stage or they're making a presentation, they'll say, "Hi, I'm Laurie Burton. I'm really glad to be here. It's great to be here. What fun we're going to have." And so they walk off that very important moment of introduction. And what usually makes them causes fits is I have them walk across the stage looking at the audience and not saying a thing.
Nice.
And by that time, the audience is going, "What's going on with that person? They're not, what?" And they take center stage and then they say, "Hello, I'm Laurie Burton. It's great to be here." So so you already got that audience going, and you got to have the energy though, too.
So it sounds like, I mean, there's like the energy part of it, but then there's like the ownership part of it, and
Oh,
it's almost like people seem to think, or maybe it seems like if you have a lot of energy, that means that you're super fast and rush, but you can have a lot of energy and still have like a slow enough pace, I guess.
absolutely. Absolutely. The pace has to do more with just who you are and how you go about it, but it's always also it's a support mechanism for your speech and for getting people interested and holding their interest. You're going to lose your audience half of the time anyway, because people's minds just do that. They wander off, then they come back. It's a part of the business.
Right. And but then it's up to you to, I guess,
Pull them
be
back.
yeah, pull them back and be entertaining enough where, like, you're going to
Oh,
lose them half the time when they come back, but if you're
yes.
super boring, you lose them the whole time.
Oh, yes, and we've all seen those, haven't we?
Right.
Yep. That's the current thing uh, program we we're working on is called personality workout. How many people do you know that might need a personality workout, Robert?
Most of them.
See, I love those answers. I know. I agree. A lot of people could use a personality workout. So it involves digging in there and finding those positive parts of your personality and bringing them to the surface.
Oh, it sounds scary and painful.
Yeah, well, you're not going to get through it without going through dumping some bad habits and realizing you got to look, yeah, it takes some depth. It really does.
And I noticed that with me, like, I mean, I keep mentioning, like, I'm not the best speaker. It doesn't come naturally, but if I get to the point where I feel almost like overconfident about like my skills and things, or I go too long without kind of going back to the fundamentals, then I
Hmm.
end up backsliding a little bit back to the person I don't want to be. So it's almost like not only is there the breaking down and building up, but I notice, at least with me, like I have to keep on keeping the
Yes.
muscle strong, right?
Yes, absolutely. And you're in constantly checking in. It's a check-in with yourself and with the audience. And it could be just one-on-one, but the person you're speaking with is your audience, and you're talking to your boss, or you're talking to somebody you're dating, or whatever it is. It's your job to express yourself honestly and with animation and energy and truthfulness and love and all those good things come through you. Um, all those positive, wonderful qualities.
I mean, a lot of stuff to think about. And normally we'd think, oh, it's just talking. It's the most natural thing. But it's like, okay, well, there's all these things that we're giving off, I guess, or even not giving off, that we just have to look at ourselves a little bit, and we
Yes.
can fix them. So, as we're winding down today's call, Lori, could you share with us, like, what's the number one mistake you see people making as far as their speaking, their stage presence, their body language? I mean, what's the mistake you see over and over again?
Well, they want to get off the spot. They don't want to be recognized. They don't want that. Attention causes tension,
I
and
like
people.
that.
I do too. That they don't. Lots of people don't love being on the spot.
So, what's the solution?
Owning it, saying, okay, this is how it feels. I'm going to acknowledge the tension and what, oh, there's lots of things. That's a whole nother program there. But it's acknowledging the tension and coming to terms with it. And then saying to looking in that mirror, and you got to own that and know that you deserve these things that you're doing for yourself. and confidently take them in and look see, and try them on and see how they fit.
Ooh, I like that analogy. That's cool.
Yeah.
Try different
Yeah.
things on. And
Yeah.
and I also like that exercise that I keep thinking back to that. The exercise you said earlier about how you went on or you told someone to walk on stage and just kind of say nothing and just kind of look around and just kind of almost not quite size them up, but just kind of just that
Yes.
dreaded dead silence, just let it happen.
People, they can't stand it. You know why? Because they don't deserve it. They feel like I'm taking up their time, but me, Laurie Burton, I deserve that, and I take that.
I love it. That's awesome.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
so great. So I mean, Lori, you shared a lot of really great stuff today. I like everything you have to say. I mean, not only good advice, but lots of little cool exercises that anyone can try out, on their own at home or anything like that. But if they're at the point where they say, okay, well, I like what Lori had to say. I want to hire her as a coach. I want to check out her blog and her books. Where can they go and find out more about you?
They can go to Laurie, and Laurie is Laurie, LaurieBurtonTraining.com. I also have my book there, and it's on Amazon as well, and it's called Presenting You.
Awesome. So presenting you, LaurieBurtonTraining.com.
Yes,
Hopefully it'll become a number one bestseller, sell
yes,
10 billion copies.
yes, from your lips to God's ears.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, I mean, I appreciate you, Lori, and I appreciate this subject that might be painful for a lot of people or might seem like too simplistic. But I mean, it seems like everyone needs to be a better speaker and everyone needs to know how to correct these things that might just kind of creep up or might just be like these nervous ticks. And if they do, they can deliver their message better, get a lot of attention better, have a better life
Yes,
in every area.
absolutely. And I
Uh,
appreciate your taking part in it today, you too, and trying out some exercises. Very
Yeah,
nice.
I mean, why just learn when it's more fun to kind of participate, right?
Yes, yes.
So,
Thank you.
well, thank you, Laurie, for being on the show, and have a great one.
Okay, thank you. You too. Bye bye.